a slide.
Uh, uh,
Oh,
uh.
oh, 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 oh. Ah, oh, 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 oh. Ah, oh. Hi, everybody. Welcome, Diamonds. Welcome, Diamonds. Hello. Come on in. Come
Come
on in the
on
room.
in.
Come on in the room. Diamonds. Come
Come on
on
in the
in.
room, Diamonds.
Come on in the room, Diamonds. Come on in the room. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
How is everybody doing on this election historic? Well, probably all elections are historic if you really understand the power of an election. But
Yeah,
this one has so many um, interesting narratives attached.
yeah. That is so true.
So, you know, praying and still holding the space since this morning, sis. We've been collectively holding the space for people to get to the polls that have not been. Don't listen to what you heard. There are a lot of polls where there are no lines.
Yeah,
You can get right in, and within 20 minutes, your process is done. So
yeah,
don't listen to what anybody says. This is one of those times you got to see for yourself. You got to be in the arena. It's what we
right.
talk about all the time, sis. You got to be in the arena and show up. So
Exactly.
see how easy it is to now do something that was a life and death uh, task,
Yeah,
dream, quest.
yeah, yeah. That's true. I posted early this morning sis, because I woke up really thinking about how right now is a time where it's a lot of people that are depressed. There's so much going on. And if you listen to the news and the media and everything going on, it's a lot of stuff going on in the atmosphere, right? Mercury's in retrograde. I don't know what that means, but I can feel it, right? And, we've had issues with weather. We've had the time change. We've got the elections and a lot of people, I've had a lot of people in my immediate circle that are sick or their family members are ill. And it's just a lot going on. And then you put this election on top of it. And I just really started praying for our country, our nation, our world, our people, because there's a spiritual vortex happening that is pulling people down. It's
Yeah.
like if you focus on everything going on around you, it's really hard to stay positive right now. It's
Yeah.
really hard to have a positive outlook on life. You just feel like the world is falling apart. And so I just really want to encourage people tonight to stay focused on God. We know all things work together for the good,
Mhm.
right? All things work together for the good for those who are called according to God's purpose. And those who are called, for those he called, he justified, and those he justified, he glorified. So whether your party wins or loses, right? You are okay. Everything works together for the good. So I just really want to encourage people. Somebody's gonna lose and somebody's gonna win. Somebody's gonna be happy and somebody's gonna be sad. But spoiler alert, you win in the end.
Right.
You win. If you're doing the right thing, you're focused on the right thing, you win in the end.
But I think, sis, the important thing is the focus is action,
Absolutely.
right? And it's action in prayer, action in praise, action in voting, action in showing up, action in not shrinking,
Right.
action in being faith driven in your mindset to
Yeah.
understand that whatever happens, you are still taken care of.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, God's purpose and plan for you is still activated, in motion, and guaranteed.
Yeah.
Whatever you are setting your mind to in this season, passivity and being in a place of indecision is not going to be your friend. You know that's one of the things I feel in this season. You're going to have to choose who you serve, and you're going to have to choose where you put your time, where you put your energy, what you're focused on, and be fully engaged in that process, and be fully
Yeah.
engaged in being clear that wherever you put your time, your money, your service, your treasure, right? That's going to speak to where your heart really is,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
So, you know, as we look across the country, and there are many polling places that have 3 hours left before they're closed. If you have not spoken what you believe in the polls, it's not too late.
Right.
It could be as simple as a run to the store,
Yeah.
right? And people are setting a lot of people up to think if at this point you haven't done it, you're going to be at the polls till midnight. Well, you're not, because they're not going to be open that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number
Why?
two, you got
My
to
kids,
go. Mm-hmm.
yeah, my kids voted in different precincts today in Atlanta, and they said it took 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I live right next door to a polling station, and there's no line. Hasn't been a line all day. I think the majority of people early voted.
Yeah, that's why you got to be focused in action and on action, because if you this is not the season to be listening to what everybody is telling you
Yeah.
without you being clear and in the arena yourself,
Yeah.
showing up positive present, you know. Like you said this morning, I did a live talking about, have you heard that today is the day that descendants of slaves will own their vote? You know, today is the day that immigrants, people that came over here and became US citizens, their children and their children's children will own their vote. And being very clear that every culture has a story.
Mm-hmm.
But today is the day that every culture should be going to the polls, because the story in this country often speaks of you having to earn the right to fully participate. And
Yeah.
it's not always fair and equal. But
Right.
you have to be the one to say, well, I will fight for the right and I won't shrink. I will show up. If I don't have the right, I will fight for the right. And if I have the right, I will absolutely not squander it.
Right. Right. And then, you know, though, at the same time, we need to show up. We got to do our part. But I really think it's important for people to get their minds right. Either way,
Absolutely.
party wins. You got to do the right thing. It's not the end. It's not just vote and then it's over.
Right.
You know, whether it's your party or not your party, we still need to show up and make and hold these politicians accountable to all this stuff that they're saying that they're going to do. Whether it's your party or it's not your party,
Right.
we still have to show up after today.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just stop with a vote,
Mm-hmm.
right? It takes everyday action, everyday activism, every day showing up to make a difference because, you know, we create the culture of America. And what we've seen in the news is ugly. What we've seen on social media is ugly and horrible. The way that people are treating each other, because we have difference in opinion, we have difference in parties, and that only changes if we change individually, right? If we show up differently, because we create the culture of America, right? We got to hold people accountable. We've got to live our lives. We got to hold ourselves accountable, and we got to live. We got to do better. It's really it's disheartening to see some of the things that you see where people are just it's ugly. People are just
Yeah, but sis, the thing that is hard is that it's so systemic, right? And I wish it wasn't so system driven, but I know that the chaos is systemic. I
yeah,
know that the brutality and the violence and the racism and all of the ills that we experience, the thing that is such a challenge is there really isn't an ill that does not have a solution, right? Most things that are burdening us because there is a microcosm or a majority that
yeah,
benefits from it, so they become the brokers of the culture. And
yeah,
unfortunately, you know, we are experiencing every system being perfectly designed to get exactly what it gets.
absolutely.
So when people are not showing up to the polls tonight because they feel like, well, I just got off work, I've been working a 10-hour day or 12-hour day or three jobs, and I can't now go to the polls and wait another 3 hours. That's systemic, right? It's systemic to dissuade you from realizing that this is not only a right, but it's a duty. So I think the thing that I'm inspired by is first of all, my self governance is beyond law, right?
Yeah,
My self governance is beyond law. It's connected to faith and values and understanding of my history and understanding of who I am and whose I am and what I bring and what my life represents.
yeah,
So, like you, I believe whichever way this goes, I will still win because I
right.
have a faith that drives my understanding. But there
Yeah,
are some challenges, there are things that I will say, I've been quite disappointed by how um, we've navigated many of the conversations that really speak to our people, speak to humanity, speak to women, speak to life and the living. We have these one sided conversations. And, what I'm praying is that in this next season, we can really have the conversations that can elevate and uplift all people.
agreed, agreed.
That's the hope. But I know that God's got it.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. We had an amazing conversation at Q Brilliance with some awesome leading women, Yvette Buckner, and Honorable Lisa Samuels, Joy Williams, Heidi.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic group of women at Q Brilliance that talked about the power of women showing up and elevating their voices in politics, and how impactful that would be. It's just the numbers and the representation of women in leadership is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so, as women, we need to stand up. And I think it would really make a difference if we change those narratives and those ratios, those statistics, so that we are in positions of leadership and we can make decisions that are in our best interest as women.
Sure, because whenever we make decisions that are in our best interest as women, nations rise.
Yes.
It is pretty simple how it works.
Yeah.
Um, so, we don't yet know how this story of tonight will play out. But what
Right.
we do know is whatever plays out, it's not the end.
Right.
We have some serious work to do when it comes to social injustice.
Yeah.
We have some serious work to do when it comes to misogyny.
Yeah.
Serious work to do when it comes to equality for children and equality for difference and equality for you know thought that is critical, right? It's like
Yeah.
critical thinking is so not popular, which is
Right.
so bizarre, right? But
Yeah.
it's like we have to really galvanize across the board for education, for healthcare, for equity, for inclusion, for
Yeah.
diversity. In so many spaces, we really have to show up. And voting is our starting context
Right.
for where we want to see this happening in the earthly space. But
Right.
I believe that so much of this is spiritually mandated, right?
Absolutely.
So, what I'm doing is I've been praying. I've been setting my thoughts on positivity. I voted early. The day the polls opened, I was there in that first group. I posted so people could see that my experience was, simple and
Yeah.
easy breezy. There was no violence. There wasn't a 7 hour wait. There wasn't any of that. It was just the privilege of being able to stand in line, knowing how many people had paid a price for me to be there. And
Right.
I know that prayer makes a difference.
Absolutely. I did the same thing. I voted early. I voted on the first day of early voting. And today I'm just in praise and worship, just praise and worship, trying to keep my mind focused on God. Because no matter what goes on around us, that's what holds us down. That's what keeps us together. And having a strong tribe to be able to talk. We had a call with our tribe today where we talked about, basically how are you feeling,
Hmm.
and if you need time if you just need somebody to listen, or you just need community, because that's hard right now. All of us, working from home and separated, because of the pandemic and with all the things going on, sometimes you need a community. And one of the things we talk about as Brilliance is, working together virtually
Yeah,
where we can just get on a Zoom together and we don't have to talk to each other, just listen to some music. And if you need to talk, unmute yourself and say something, just knowing that somebody else is there
right.
in the same space and how powerful that is. So if you need community, check us out at sisterdiamonds.com.
Yeah,
It is so powerful to have other positive, amazing, strong women that come together and just really shine their light and support one another. It's unmatched.
well, that's one of the reasons for those of you who are with us tonight. Tomorrow, we are going to come together on our live, and we're just going to do a corporate, prayer. We're just
Yeah,
going to, as sisters, as sister diamonds, and we invite all of our sister diamonds, young, our ISP crew. We invite you to join us. Our She Brilliance crew, we invite you to join us and just come together, because we do know where two or three are gathered, there is power. One of the things that Crystal and I know is that when we come together as two, there is a power that is beyond what we can do by ourselves. And that's strategic, because connection and collectivism and illumination, all the things that we talk about continuously, matter. And when we come together, we really get to see it on display. So
right.
tomorrow night in our live, we're gonna pray. We're gonna pray for our country. We're
Yeah,
going to pray for our sisterhood. We're going to pray for our next. we're going to pray for our praise. We're going to pray for our prayers. We're going to pray for our families and pray for, you know, our businesses and our health and our personal and professional needs, our
Right.
leadership. We're just going to call the roll. And we invite you to
Yeah.
join us tomorrow as we collectively, corporately, community come together and pray. Because we do believe that with all the strategy and with all that we're trying to create, there is a source that sources all of it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So we hope to see you.
Yeah. Join us tomorrow night. We'll be doing a live broadcast at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. We'll just be uplifting, elevating, and praise and worship. And we hope to see you guys there. We love you.
Love you. And if you haven't gone to the polls, it's not too late. Get in your car, go to the poll, put your vote in, and let's watch how this all unfolds together.
Yes. Love you. And
Love you. Good
bye-bye.
night.
Good night.